Hello, today is the 9th of January and I am Aviva reporting live from the International Press Center here in Jerusalem. This will be today's final edition of Fact Without Commentary concerning the visit of President George W. Bush to the sovereign state of Israel. After the work session and dinner, President Bush was escorted by Prime Minister Olmert to the lawn of his residence on Balfour Street here in Jerusalem. There were a few journalists selected from the pool who were allowed to wait outside in order to cover the remarks the two leaders were to make after their first work session. Prime Minister Olmert escorted President Bush to the podium and began making his general statements. Prime Minister Olmert stated that the visit is very timely and very important to encourage the process, and I quote, that you and Secretary Rice helped start in Annapolis a few weeks ago, end quote. Continuing, he said both sides are very seriously trying to move forward in order to realize a two-state solution. I want to thank you at this opportunity, Olmert said, for the friendship and the support you have shown to the state of Israel. And this was very interesting, Mr. Olmert said, that this year you decided to increase the overall support of the state of Israel to $30 billion. The Prime Minister then disclosed that he and President Bush had just discussed regional issues and the bilateral relations between Israel and the United States and between the two parties seeking a two-state solution. And Mr. President, he continued, I hope that you felt that Israel is very serious to continue these talks, bringing about the implementation of the roadmap. Then Prime Minister Olmert described the most recent terrorist attacks on the sovereign state of Israel. He said that even today, the 9th of January 2008, the terrorists were firing Qassam rockets and that a few landed inside Sderot. The Prime Minister had this to say about those attacks today, and I quote, Israel will not tolerate the continued attacks on our civilians living in these cities, and we will take measures necessary in order to stop these attacks. There will be no peace unless terror is stopped, and it must be stopped everywhere. Gaza must be a part of the package, end quote. Prior to Mr. Bush addressing those assembled, the Prime Minister thanked him once more for his friendship and for using his executive powers for good causes in this region and in the world. With that, Mr. Bush began his remarks. He stated, I think that this is an historic moment and an historic opportunity for us to deal with the security of Israel and the security of this region. We are in conflict with those who kill innocent people, and we will fight the terrorists. It is an historic moment to vote for peace, and I believe two democratic states will live side by side. Mr. Bush continued by saying, and I quote, that is why I articulated this vision early in my presidency, and I am pleased to watch you and President Abbas bring this vision to realization, end quote. He further continued by saying that it is essential that people understand I would not be standing here if I did not think the parties involved were serious about seeking a lasting peace. In the rest of my trip, I will be talking of the peace in the Middle East. Arab leaders have an obligation to recognize Israel. I am optimistic and I am very hopeful concerning Iran. The President reminded those present that after the most recent intelligence report was disclosed, that he stated unequivocally that Iran was a threat to world peace and that, in spite of the fact that they had stopped their acquisition of the means to produce nuclear weapons in 2003, that their endeavors could be resumed at any time without the world's knowledge. He described Iran as a non-transparent nation. Based upon this description, he said that Iran was still a threat and could become a greater threat to peace in the region and in the world. President Bush further indicated that he believes that Iran must be stopped from enriching uranium, period. And that concludes this edition of Fact Without Commentary. I am Aviva Lee, reporting live from Jerusalem at the International Press Center. I am reporting for Isarel 24/6 TV. Please look for my continued coverage tomorrow morning concerning the visit of President George W. Bush to the sovereign state of Israel. Thank you, and shalom.
Listen, what happened with this, I just asked Jerome, at 9 o'clock,